Thank you very much for joining us here today at our location in Son. A very warm welcome to all of you. What is Sofon? Well, I have only a few minutes time, so that's why I make a very brief introduction. But Sofon provides standard software in the quote-to-cash and CPQ domain. And we help companies to achieve growth, reduce their costs, and gain more quality.
What is CPQ?
Configure, pricing, and quoting. And what is our aim? We try to turn companies into winning companies. And you can see there are a lot of quotes on this sheet, but one of the main ones is sales. And what we do with our software is to simplify the sales processes and make it more repeatable. And that ensures more quality, standardization, and the ability to do more work with the same people. And companies who improve every day in their processes and in their products will last for a longer period of time and will be more successful in the future. Last year we had Scansonic. It's a company in welding, laser welding, and they told us a nice story about their processes and what they were challenging. 10 October, a day that a customer wants a quotation, and he is asking the local partner from Scansonic for a quotation. After that, you see a lot of traffic of emails. He has questions, he has Excels, and all this information has to be gathered in order to get a good quotation. In the meantime, we're already at 17 October. So it takes a while to get a good quotation out to the customer. And a lot of internal communication is taking place. And in the end, when everything is looked into and proven, then the customer will get a quotation at the 20th of October. We talked to them a few years ago, and after that we got a new situation with Scansonic. They have now centrally stored their knowledge. They have an efficient quote process. Their sales is really active with sales and not with gathering information. We see a lot of error-free prices, and they are able to work worldwide and 24/7. Their profit went up more than 20% by using Sofon. This is their sales process at the moment. They have still the local partner, they have still the customer, but the communication is now between the customer and the local partner, and when they agree on the configuration, which has been made in our tool, and this tool is made in the Scansonic look and feel, in half an hour they make a quotation. So from 10 days to half an hour, that's an enormous gain in speed. And also the quality of the quotations is much higher than before. Also, what is needed, and yeah, for you I think it's quite obvious, we need to have clear processes and more vital structured data. And in the end, of course, we need budget, and budget is not only money that we can make our quotations and invoices to the customer, but also what's vital is the budget in time for their people. Because in the end, all the information which is now in their heads needs to come in systems, and after that we can make the company repeatable. So, what's the added value of Sofon? In the end, increased growth, a cost reduction, and quality improvement in the whole organization, not only in the production facility but also in the processes. But in the end, we are very happy and proud to help our customers the way forward.
My name is Edwin Schumacher. Henk-Jan asked me to tell something about requirements. First, a little bit about Synergio. We are a consultancy organization. We focus on what we call product development excellence. And basically what we do is we help organizations to improve their development of products, applications, and we do that by improving their product development processes. So we're very much focused on process development. What do? We deliver training, we do consultancy, and we do tooling, software. So we help people which processes they can follow to improve their development processes. We help them do it, and we have consultancy services for that, and we have tools to help manage product development as well. If you do engineering, where does it always go wrong? Interfaces. Yes, interfaces. It always goes wrong on the interfaces. Why? Because people don't work together and they don't communicate. So on one hand, requirements are very important. On the other hand, if you only stick to the specifications and don't use your common sense, then it's not going to fly either, right? At the end of the day, what you have to do is you have to deliver value to your customer. So these are big requirements, but this is small requirements. This is my my shopping list. Hey, why don't you go and get that? And so I go to the supermarket and I'm going to buy this stuff, right? And so I come back with white bread. You feel the point, right? I put the stuff on the counter in the kitchen, and so my wife is next to me, right quickly. So she's helped me unpack, and she said, you've brought white bread with you. You know, we eat brown bread. I'm like, well, yeah, but it says bread, so I thought I could choose myself. What I'm trying to say is we are all requirements engineers. Because if you want something from somebody else, you better make yourself clear, or you will get something else. So again, requirements are not rocket science. But sometimes it can become very complicated. This presentation is about the right requirements right. The requirements right, what do we mean with that? That means formulated in a way that people understand what you mean. If you want to write requirements, you have to just use proper sentences. We've written a book, it's called Start at the End with Smart Requirements. And Dutch it's called Begin bij het eind. And it helps you with a set of guidelines of how you can write requirements. I talk about writing requirements, but that doesn't mean that requirements are always written. Requirements can also be in visuals, in simulations, in pictures, in videos. It doesn't matter. And we're now switching from the requirements right, which is about formulating requirements, to the right requirements. And that in lots of cases is much more difficult. The writing is something everybody can learn. But so what we do is we make a distinction between expectations or needs, if you like to, and solutions. So we never develop requirements without the solution in mind. In lots of cases you see traditional requirements management where you start with business requirements and then they are drilled down into user requirements and then drilled down into system requirements or subsystem requirements. I find it very hard to subdivide a user requirement into 10 or 15 system requirements. And customers have a difficulty with that too. So let me try to explain this a little bit because it is connected. Like, basically, what you try to do is you try to identify your needs at a high level. And then you ask yourself the question, with what can I satisfy these needs? You come to some sort of a solution. But then you have to specify the solution, so what are the characteristics of the solution? You describe it. And now the next question is, why does this solution have these characteristics? Well, to satisfy that need, right? And now it becomes interesting because you have a closed loop. These arrows are what we call traces. You basically link needs to the possible solutions, you link characteristics to the solutions, and you link characteristics to the needs. Now there's an interesting thing, because you create a closed loop, you can check whether you are complete. The essence of requirements is risk reduction. So this model helps you a little bit. So let me extend it a little bit, because on the expectation side, what you basically do is you give direction to the solution, right? But most of the time you don't have all the freedom to create whatever solution you want. So you have restrictions. For example, regulatory, standards and guidelines, internal processes, internal policies, what have you. So where you here have the direction for the solution, this thing says, okay, well, you know, if you're building the solution, this is the sandbox you have to stay into. You have to comply to these rules and regulations, otherwise you cannot go to market, it doesn't work, I'm not accepting it, whatever. But regulatory is becoming more and more important in almost any projects. If you go to banks and insurance companies, they have to comply to, what is it, Basel and solvency. If you go to engineering companies, they have to comply to all kinds of ISO standards or NEN standards or what have you, so regulatory is everywhere. You can also use this model in a different way, is you can manage complexity. So let's follow this reasoning. Needs and goals. I can solve those with conceptual solutions, right? I characterize those with business requirements. Those business requirements need to be implemented in business processes in the company. And those business processes are operated by people. So the people have user requirements. And those people, in lots of cases, use systems, applications, to do their work. And from that you derive system requirements. And those systems, in lots of cases, consist of functions or components or what have you. And those have component requirements. And now you have a complete way of managing your needs at a lower and at a higher level. Don't go and specify stuff that everybody already knows. It doesn't make sense. If on this side there is a solution which is a standard solution in the marketplace, then you're not going to specify it to the detail. But this one I actually stole from the PMI. High performance value requirements. I didn't have to do anything. It was in a report. They use requirements to, you know, drive their development, to do validation and verification, to comply to regulatory, etc. My statement for tonight is requirements are key to a successful project. And what does it help you do? Well, faster time to market, because it is clear in one go what you have to build. Less rework, because you don't make any assumptions. Increase productivity, and last but not least, happier customers, and also, not unimportant, motivated employees. That concludes my presentation. Anybody, any questions? Good.